Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. It is 8 p.m. on a Tuesday evening, so it is time for the Real Money Coach Show. And tonight we're calling this show the pre-debate show, because we know that you are getting your popcorn ready. We know that you're getting ready for this debate between the two major party candidates, being Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. And so it's going to be a great show. I'm sure the ratings will be off the roof for this first debate of the two. My understanding, the first time they had ever met in person. And so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this turns out. And I'm just excited about it. Let me just tell you this. Just come off of a wonderful weekend. Got a chance to go to Michigan. Saw a lot of family, a lot of people I hadn't seen in years. So what wasn't the best occasion to go for, but it is always good to see family and just reconnect. And so did that. And um, and so we're back, and I got a full schedule, you guys, coming up. I will be uh, on September 25th. I will be at Lincoln Heights uh, Baptist Church for two book sessions, one at noon and one at 6 p.m. in Cincinnati, Ohio. You can see my grandson in the background on the microphone doing his thing, doing his preaching that he do. So listen, maybe he ought to be our guest tonight, right? Maybe he ought to be a guest tonight because he's got a whole lot to say. So, and then I also will be at in Lafayette, Fayetteville, North Carolina, on October 5th for the overflow area, Dr. Lakeisha Chisholm, as well as I will be at the Heart of a Woman's Conference on, I believe that's September 21st. I will also be over in Greenville, South Carolina for the conference there. So going to be doing quite a bit of traveling, speaking, doing spreading this financial gospel wherever I can. And speaking of financial gospel, let me bring on my co-host, Mrs. Michelle Mitchell, onto the screen. Hey, Michelle.
Hey Tony, how you doing tonight?
I'm well. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Good. So what's going on with Mitchell Consulting? Tell the people what's happening.
What's happening with Mitchell Consulting? We're having our financial roundtable tomorrow, and we are talking about gearing up for year end. So, um, so you have enough runway to do the things you need to do, right?
Here we go.
So we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Yes.
That year end's coming quick.
Man, this year is coming so fast, and actually, the month of September it just started, but it's the 10th today. I'm just blown away at how fast time is going.
Yeah, time is going by super fast. This year has blazed by. A lot of great things. Martha from Texas, San Antonio, Texas.
I need to talk to Martha.
Matter of fact, what we're gonna do, we're gonna post in the chat. If I tell you, post the link to the show in the chat. Martha and Alice, Martin, thank you for being. If anybody is watching, we're gonna post the chat. And if you want to come in and join us in the conversation tonight, feel free to click on that link and come join us in on the conversation. Our conversation tonight is going to be about the debate. The debate, as many of you probably know, seen advertised, will actually take place tonight at 9 p.m. And so we're going to make sure that our show is done in plenty of time for you to go put, or at least for me and Michelle, to go put our pajamas on, our slippers, so that we can watch the debate. So that we can
right.
So there's the link in the chat. If you go to that link, you can actually come in and join us on screen and share your thoughts because the question that we have tonight is, what are you going to watch debate? What are you looking for? What are the keys that you're looking for in this debate tonight? And so we want to have that discussion. We want to get your opinions. Obviously, you can put it in the chat, but it'd be even neat if you come join in and share that with us. And we've never done this before. We've never posted come in to the show in the chat. If this thing works, man, we might do this. That might be something new to try. You know, hey, if you got something to say about the topic, you got a question, hit that link, come on in and be a part of the discussion. Timothy Day, he did a wonderful job for us when we were talking about the taxes with Project 2025. And so that invitation's out there for everyone to join the show live.
Here's your chance. You better grab
it. Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of that. Love that download. So anybody can join with that link right there, and join our discussion. So, Michelle.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think about this whole election season? Any thoughts before we go to a break?
It's crazy. Nothing that I've ever seen before. So I just don't know.
It is different, right? And
It's
so
different. Yeah.
And when we think about it, and we think about where we started in terms of, you had President Joe Biden versus the former President Trump, and really two old guys really kind of going, because I don't think people really realize how old Donald Trump is, right?
Yeah.
But they're comparing it. I mean, he was not that much really older than Trump. And so now we have really this two very different folks that are, running against each other. They couldn't be further from being complete opposites, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And so I'm very interested to see how this much anticipated debate goes. And some of the things that we do know about the debate is that the big issue was whether or not they would have microphones would be live or muted. And it was decided that they were going to be muted microphones. So your mic will only be on when you talk. There is no opening statement. Donald Trump won the flip, and so he'll go first. So he decided. So when you win the flip, you decide who's going to give their closing remarks first and who will give last.
Oh, okay.
So he won the virtual flip, and so he chose that he would give the final remarks. So then she got to pick which side she wanted to be on as far as the podium. So that's part of it. There's no audience in the arena. There'll be no audience, and only the moderators can ask questions. So we can't ask questions of each other. Only the moderators.
This sounds real lame to me.
Listen, and they can only have a sheet of paper, a pen, and a bottle of water is all that they're allowed to bring onto the stage. And they'll be
wow.
Joe was a little confused. But and then they cannot talk to any of their staffers, even on there's 2 commercial breaks. 90-minute debate, 2 commercial breaks. They cannot talk to their staffers during that break. So whatever they prepare is what they have prepared. So no props, no aids, sheet of paper, bottle of water, a pen, in your mind. So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's not how my kids were taught to do debate when they were in debate. So it's a lot of restrictions, but okay. Yeah, what are we supposed to get out of that with all those restrictions?
Well, I think one thing that we will not get is a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
which I think the Harris campaign wanted. They kind of wanted a little bit of and they
Well,
wanted his mic to be,
yeah.
open so he could just say whatever he wanted to say
Mhm.
whenever he wanted to say it. So that's interesting. And then, they have 2 minutes to answer the question, uh, a 2 minute rebuttal, and then 1 minute after that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out. And, what will be interesting to me also is to see what happens with the polls um, afterwards.
Mm.
So it's going to be interesting. So we'll talk about a few of the topics that are on my mind as we watch the debate. But before we do that, we'll take a quick break. And again, the offer is out there for anyone. If you look in the chat, there is a link that you can come and join our conversation. Just come on for a few minutes. Let us know what you want to see out of tonight's debate as we are talking pre-debate here on the Real Money Coach Show. Let's roll it to the commercial.
Do you have passion for your business but feel like your finances are falling short? Running a business takes more than a great idea. It takes a solid financial plan. Mitchell Consulting can help you turn your passion into profit with their financial advisory services. Get the financial guidance your business needs. Contact Mitchell Consulting to learn more about their passion to profit capabilities.
Take control of your finances today with the Real Money Coach. Our free financial wellness checkup offers personalized insights and strategies to secure your financial future. Don't miss out on the clarity and confidence you deserve. Visit www.therealmoneycoach.com now. That's www.therealmoneycoach.com right now to start your journey towards financial freedom. Your future self will thank you.
All right. So, Michelle, for those people who are listening to the podcast, how would they reach you? What's the method for doing that?
Sure. You can go to mitchellconsultingservice.com and click on any of the buttons, and you can schedule a time to meet with me.
There we go. And as you all know, you can go to therealmoneycoach.com. There you can also schedule a time that we can get together and talk about your finances, whatever's on your mind. So, Michelle, you know how we have that graphic that Dante always shows. It says, "Come on in, come on in."
Yes.
We're really trying to like we're making that. We're taking that to heart tonight, right?
All right,
And that's the one. We're taking that to heart tonight by putting the link to join us on the show there. Um, I have like 5 things really that I want
Oh, excuse me.
uh, that I think are things that we need to be looking for, especially as African American voters. And the first one is policy impact. What are the policies, the positions, key issues like healthcare, educational, criminal justice, those things that are important to our community.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that I think that I would really like to see them address. Um, and of course, we've been talking a lot about Project 2025, implications of that. Um, it'll be interesting to me to see if any of the things that we've been talking about on this show comes out in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I certainly think that she will certainly try to link him to that Project 2025, even though he's trying to distance himself from it. And
Yes.
I think he certainly will try to link her to Joe Biden and the economy, even if she's trying to distance herself from that. So, my question for you is, what do you think about the economy and where we're at right now?
So here's what I think. If you look at the indicators for the economy, everything is about the same as it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So all the indicators. So inflation is down to 2.7 or 9 or something.
Yeah.
Interest rates are still high,
right.
but I think there's a call in the next week or two about interest rates. The unemployment rate is still low. So all of those indicators state that we have a good economy, right?
Right.
But what people feel in their pocketbook is something different, because every time I go to the grocery store, I'm like, what the heck with eggs?
Right.
Why are eggs so expensive? So I don't know if that can be directly connected to the economic policy of President Biden, but why are eggs so expensive? What is triggering that? And Danielle sent me this Instagram post that some guy was talking about his grocery bill. He shops groceries online at Walmart, and he had a grocery list from I think it was from 2019, and he reordered everything from 2019 to 2024, and his grocery bill increased like 400%.
Wow.
Same
Now,
items.
I think this is a very interesting point that we're talking about. And what was interesting with that story you just shared was it was 219, which
Right.
was pre-pandemic.
It was pre-pandemic, yes.
I believe that a lot of the pricing that we're seeing today were prices that went up during the pandemic and have never come back down.
True.
And,
I believe that too.
and why didn't they come back down? Well, some of it is, generally speaking, when you raise your prices, you don't normally take them back down, especially on essential items that people need.
True.
And so I think, some of it is corporate greed, right? Because I think
also wages have gone up. So when like, as a small business owner, if I pay my people more, I have to charge more to my client.
Right.
Because you're getting a better level of service every time we have a high quality person on the team. So I would expect that if wages are going up, and they are, why wouldn't prices correlate? But I don't know what the correlation between
what that should be, right? Because you're absolutely right. If my operating cost is more, as most businesses aren't going to say, well, we just got to eat that increase.
Right. Exactly.
They're going to pass it on to the consumer.
They're going to pass it on. Exactly.
And so now the other thing that happened is when you think about that piece of it, the employment, the number of people out there looking for employment, the how many people are there's fewer people looking for work. They're doing gig work. They're doing everything. When people started working from home, like, listen, I am not going back to the office. And I'm going to go back to these other type of corporate environments. And therefore, prices, what employers have to pay to get good people has went up.
Yes.
To your point.
Yes.
So,
and first off, if you're comparing 2019 to 2024, it's 5 years. Nothing stays the same in 5 years. Nothing. Right? So you should expect that there would be some increases. But I think the pandemic changed the landscape of business. Period.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Absolutely. People think differently now about loyalty to a company, their personal lives are more important, as it should be. But before the pandemic, that didn't matter. You just work, 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 work. And
Right.
now we are, as a society, we
Wait a
look
minute. Life is too short
life,
for
yes,
me to be giving you
yes,
everything I got.
everything.
Right.
And whatever I'm making, I can't even enjoy it because I'm always at work.
Right.
Yeah. So the landscape has shifted
Yeah. In every way. Right.
in
In
every
every way.
way.
Yeah.
So can you really tie that back to the economic policy? Or is it just, it's been 5 years and we had a pandemic, which was a seismic shift for everyone in the world,
In the world, not just here,
not just here.
not just a region, but everywhere.
Yes.
It's interesting because we talk about, as before we went on the air, we were talking about the $1,400, and a lot of people said, "Well, my business was doing so much better under the previous administration." Well, under the previous administration, we were giving out PPP money, we were
Yes.
giving out extra for unemployment and all that stuff just to keep people surviving.
Yeah.
So a lot of businesses were doing well without even having the operating cost, right?
True.
Because
Yes.
they weren't operating, right?
They were being
So
subsidized.
they were being subsidized.
Yeah.
Well, when you put all that money into circulation using quantitative easement,
Mhm.
is that you got to then pull that money back out of the economy.
Yes.
And so how do you do that? You create inflation.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of the things that this current administration has dealt with, and the reason why inflation was so high under their watch at some points, wasn't anything to do with how they were managing the economy. It was the fallout
Yes.
of
From the
these
pandemic.
other
These other mechanisms. But also, if you compare the United States with other countries, like how do we compare
right.
economically, right? Because there are other countries that are still having a hard time coming out of
Right.
COVID, you know, because they didn't subsidize anything for the people.
Right. And so we did, and much
Yeah.
of that, three of the four stimulus packages was under the
Mhm.
previous administration. And so, some people were they were living their best COVID life.
Yeah, because
Uh,
you weren't going any like you were, there was a lot going on back then.
so it's kind of really hard to really compare it.
It's not apples to apples.
It's not apples to apples. It was unprecedented time, and
Mhm.
so it's going to be interesting to see how all this comes up. If you want to join the conversation, again, you can come and do that. The link is in the chat, as well as on your screen. That it will get you in, whether you're using YouTube, Facebook. That just you put that in your browser, and it will bring you into our green room, and then we will bring you on stage and let you say what you have to say tonight, whether you agree with us or disagree with us. Come on and let us know what you're thinking. So I think that's one. Is I'm looking for some policy things tonight,
Mhm.
and I want to find out how they're going to address. Again, we've talked about some things like criminal justice reform.
Mhm.
What's going to be said there? What's going to be said when it comes to economic equality?
Mhm.
Because we have seen this push where we've gone from urban renewal, we've gone from affirmative action, we've gone to DEI, we've gone to nothing,
Nothing. Mhm.
right? So the question is, how are we going to, is there going to be anything that's going to be said about the widening economic gap between marginalized communities? That's a fancy way to say Black folks
For
and
yeah.
Hispanic as well,
Poor people.
Latino. But
Poor
how are we going to close that gap, that racial wealth gap that's happening in our community? Is it going to be addressed?
Yeah. I mean, I like Kamala's proposal for small business,
Mm-hmm.
increasing the tax deduction from 5 to 25,000. I don't know how it will be paid for yet, but that's intriguing to me because one, women are the largest population who are starting businesses now, and a 25,000 bump, that they could use to write off on their taxes. And those of us who are in business, like, we know it costs more than $25,000 to get any kind of traction in a business to start, right?
Right.
You need more than that, a whole lot more than that. But a lot of us start with,
What do they call bootstrapping it, right?
bootstrap, what we have in our hand, right?
Right.
And I mean, that's how I started in Mitchell Consulting. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
I had a laptop and a brain.
Now you got all them gold coins to rub together, girl. Come on. Goldman Sachs. Right.
Right. We tried.
But you're right. I mean, a lot of our businesses are doing that. They're just scraping by. They're using whatever they can to get their businesses started and looking to turn a profit. So it will be interesting to see. Do you think it's big business versus small business?
I'm hoping I'm hoping it's small business, and what she said was small business, because to start a big business, $25,000 is going to do nothing. Right.
Well, but what I'm saying is there emphasis on one that's doing more for big business.
Exactly. Yes, that's the contrast, right?
That's another contrast.
Yes, that's the contrast. Yes, if you're a multimillionaire, you get tax deductions to the point where you almost pay no tax.
Yep.
And then you have the little person, that can't get any. They get $5,000 of deductions. What's that gonna do?
Right.
So, yeah.
And so it's all interesting to see what happens. The other thing is voter suppression. And I think that's one of the things that we will have in terms of one of our Project 2025 segments will be on voter suppression. And I'm just kind of curious about that. It's interesting. We saw a commercial here in North Carolina. The commercial basically was by one of the voting committees or registrants or whatever organization it was, government organization. And they said, if you see any ads that are telling you to go out to vote, that's not coming from us. And I'm thinking, but shouldn't it be? I mean, shouldn't we be encouraging people to vote? But we know traditionally a low voter turnout normally benefits the Republican Party versus the Democrat.
True. Yeah.
And so that's all very interesting. And
so y'all tell y'all sister them, go vote.
Go vote. Go vote. Everybody go vote.
Everybody just go vote.
Because not voting should not be an option.
It should not be an option.
Yeah.
But a no vote says a lot too.
Yeah.
Doing nothing says a lot.
Right. Silence. Silence says a lot. So yeah, it's interesting. By the way, and on Thursday, VP Harris will be having a rally here in Charlotte.
Really?
Yeah.
Walls will be here on Thursday.
Really? So we're I got a link to register. So register. So we'll see if I go or not. But it'll be interesting. I've been to one debate before. And that's when this is interesting. It's when Hillary was running.
Okay.
But I didn't go to see Hillary. It was because Obama was speaking at the rally.
Oh, okay.
We went to see Obama at the rally speaking on behalf of Hillary Clinton at the time.
Right.
So it shall be interesting to see
Yes,
all
it's
this
interesting.
comes out. So if you're in the chat, let us know. Is there something in particular that you're looking for in the debate tonight? But I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting just to read all the comments and everything that people have to say tomorrow. After it's all over. It's kind of like the what do they call it? The Monday morning quarterback, right?
Right.
We'll go back and be able to see what everything, and much of it will just really depend on what network you're watching. Because I personally, I think we all know Fox News is very right wing. I think CNN is very left wing, but I do like some like NBC, some of those things I think are more in the middle in terms of
That's interesting.
where they are. That's what I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, I try to be neutral. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I do too. I like a even.
Yeah, me too.
I like a even reporting, right? So I like a reporter that's not going to be just going to report the facts. Right?
Yeah, report like the facts as they are, without sugarcoating them, without having bias.
Without putting your particular twist on it.
Right.
So y'all see my man.
He done made his way back.
Yes. Do you have something to say? Do you have something to say about our conversation? Yes? What do you want to say? No? Okay. So, yeah. So listen, folks, we're gonna wrap it up so that we can get ready to watch the debate at 9. I appreciate you all joining with us as we kind of share our little opinions, and I'm just really curious at what you guys think. Go to our Facebook page, or if you're part of the Facebook group, the Real Money Coach community, go ahead and join us and let us know what you think after debate. Be great to have a conversation there. So, anything else, Michelle?
No. Enjoy the debate.
All right, everybody. Have a good evening. Enjoy the debate. And we will see you next week as we resume our series on Project 2025, Know the Facts. And so, Carter, tell everybody, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.